Namaskar, Amrita Vidyapeetham, India's fourth best university under National Institution Ranking Framework under MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development for the year 2020. Amrita's philosophy is not just passing on a degree to students. As we all know that someone is educated is not just because of the degree. In addition to the degree certificates, one also should impart certain culture, ethics, principles, discipline, values. And the main philosophy of Amrita is to impart education through the value-based system. Today, Amrita is bridging the gap between technology and humanity. Amrita believes in imparting the 4 C's of the 21st century skills: collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. In the COVID-19 situation, technology has changed the teaching and learning process. And under this initiative of changing and transforming the teaching and learning process, Amrita has been initiating much ahead of that various projects across the country, especially the living labs, where our students go to remote villages, be there for months and months to understand the true, real problems of our villages and resolving those problems through their skills, talents, and the knowledge they gain through the education from Amrita. And that is what it is all about, the living labs. The future is going to be quite volatile, uncertain, and unpredictable. But one thing is very certain: the technology is going to stay ahead. And technology is going to certainly rule the roost. Under these circumstances, there are many of you aspiring to be engineers of the future. Every department of any engineering institution, it is all dependent on each other, interdisciplinary. But the reason for us to videograph this session is for those aspiring students who would like to take up engineering as their profession. And before they choose, we would like to tell you as to why this discipline or department. So we have with us a well-experienced, eminent scholar, Dr. S.R. Nagaraj, who is the professor and chair of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Amrita School of Engineering, Kasavanahalli, Bangalore. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity
Wonderful.
to speak to you.
Wonderful. Sir, before we commence this, we would like to hear from you your journey towards picking up engineering as your course of study and your journey as far as your career is concerned. Over to you, sir, and welcome again for the session.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. To start with, why did I get interested in engineering per se, then the mechanical engineering, okay, to be specific. I grew up in a place where, or all of you would have seen a wheel, which is considered the greatest invention of human beings. And every philosophy, everything works around wheel. It always fascinated me. How does a wheel rotate? If you see a bullock cart, you have so many cycle wheel. Wheel has so many spokes. Where a bullock cart is designed, wheel is a different design. Then you have automotive wheel, it's different. So it all started enthusing me that what it makes it to rotate. Okay. So why do you require a different size of wheels? What is mobility per se? So which fascinated me to choose first is engineering, then into mechanical engineering per se. Okay. I started my engineering degree. I obtained it from currently called NIT Surathkal, that is National Institute of Technology. So way back in 1985. Then I did my master's from Mysore University, did my PhD from Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra. I have been in teaching profession from day one. So teaching always fascinated me, like the wheel fascinated me. I thought whatever I learn, I should be a lifelong learner rather than learning for a short duration during the course. So as an engineer, as a teacher, you always get the opportunity to learn day in and day out. So I, as a teacher, learn from my students every day, because every batch of students are unique, they're different, they give you a different perspective, and they also make you to enhance your own skills and knowledge. Not only we teach them skills and knowledge, they also make us increase our skills and knowledge, okay? Because every batch of students are unique, and every human being is unique. So the way you teach them, even though the fundamentals are same, but as time progresses, we also change as the technology changes, and every year our teaching methodologies change, especially in Amrita. We are always constantly in upgrading our skills and constantly in changing the way we teach students so that they become better engineers. So I started my career as a teacher. I'm here in Amrita for the last 11 years as a teacher. I continue to be a teacher lifelong. Okay.
Absolutely. Sir, you've been heading the mechanical department of Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore. You'll always say that your department is the best among all other institutions across the country. I'm sure you'll say that, and I also agree with that. But what's so special about your department of mechanical engineering, Amrita School of Engineering? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, there are a couple of 3 or 4 unique things about Amrita first and our mechanical department per se. The first important thing is, I always say to the students, a farmer who doesn't soil his hands, an engineer who doesn't oil his hands, doesn't get any experience, is of no use. So when we say an engineer oiling his hands, means getting practical knowledge. Okay. So hands-on experience. So hands-on experience is very, very important for an engineer. However, how much ever you study theory, it's of no use unless until you experience it and you practically implement it and see it for yourself. Mechanical engineering being the one which visualizes things, wherein you make products, you experience the product. So as a mechanical engineer, you really require to get into the thick of the things. So we say oiling your hand, okay. So that means you just get onto the job, put your hand into the equipment, you put your hand into the machine, you put your hand into the automobile, you put your hand into everything you build, okay. So not just building the theory and building the equipment is important, learning it also important. So every course in mechanical department, almost every course is lab integrated, in the sense you learn theory along with the practical aspects of it, okay. So we don't just teach theory separately, lab separately, so that they are disjointed. They're all always together, okay. They go in hand together. So that's the first important distinction I would like to bring about, okay. The next is projects. We always, the day they enter into Amrita, we encourage them to do projects, okay. So there is no limitation on the number of projects they do. Every project is counted, and students are encouraged to publish their projects in terms of technical papers, in terms of attending seminars, in terms of attending conferences world over, and meet people, experts in the area, exhibit their projects in industrial exhibitions. Okay, so we always, our Amrita mechanical department students always have participated in the International Machine Tool Exhibition, which happens every year in Bangalore. We have always have got a stall. We have always have been, for the last 8 years, we have been selected to present our unique projects there. So we always encourage them, we incentivize them also. So every project students do leads to them for their, we incentive them as in terms of marks, incentive them in terms of giving them a distinction in the degree, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the other aspect. The third one I would like to say is in Amrita, communication skill development, soft skill, then improvement in your analytical ability, which are very, very important for an engineer, are going hand in hand. They are part of the curriculum, they are not separate. Okay. So we believe that they are integral to the development of an engineer. Okay. The fourth one is the morality. Okay. In Amrita, we believe education for life, not just for living. So that means you should learn the moral values of life, because any corporate today looks not just for your technical skills, you also have to be loyal to the company, you also have to be morally perfect. Society requires, and also companies require, okay, that morality in any student and the discipline in any student. To sum it up, in Amrita and mechanical department per se, we give importance to three things. We say IQ, the intelligent quotient, EQ, the emotional quotient, and most importantly, which nobody else gives, MQ, the moral quotient. Okay. So we believe these three things are key to success of our students in anywhere, okay, in every walk of their life.
So thank you so much, sir. You did mention about 4 various points that as to why mechanical department of Amrita School of Engineering, Bengaluru is different from other institutions and universities. Thank you so much. And you mentioned about EQ, and especially on the MQ, that's the moral quotient, which I certainly appreciate on that particular point. Having said that, and also having mentioned about the projects, which is also unique in your mechanical department, I want to just straight away jump into internships of your departments. What type of internships, what type of companies offer those internships, so that it will be more clearer for our students who choose mechanical engineering at Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore. Over to you, sir.
The internships, there are different categories of companies which give internship. One is the private sector, other is the public sector. Our students do internships in automobile related companies like Volvo, Benz, then Caterpillar, Toyota, so on and so forth. Then the public sectors like HAL, NAL, BEML, ISRO. Okay. So these are some of the companies which offer internships to the students, so that they learn what is happening, the latest technologies in the industry. There are different kinds of internships. One is the summer internships, which they can do at the end of second year, third year, okay, so on. The other is when they are in a final year, the 8th semester internship, where the internship can get converted into a job, or they already have been offered a job, then they do the internship before they start their actual work there. So these are two kinds of internships students have. So the summer internships are encouraged for the students to get preliminary knowledge about how industry works, how do you get involved in the day-to-day problem solving in industry. The 8th semester internships are more focused for 6 months, day in and day out. They will be there 6 days a week or 5 days a week. So wherein they spend almost 6 months there in the industry. So they become part of the industry so that they can continue the journey in that particular industry.
Wonderful. And straight away I'm going towards your faculties. What is the strength of faculties and how strong are they? In the sense, when I say strong, are they in terms of PhDs from world famous universities, or PhDs from IITs or NITs, or like your BITS Pilani, even from the Vidyapeetham, no doubt about it. Could you just briefly tell us about your warriors in your mechanical department?
Mechanical department in Bangalore campus is young. In fact, our first batch of students completed degree in 2011. So it's almost 9 year old. But we have young and energetic faculty. We have more than 1/3 of our faculty are PhDs from IITs and Birla Institute, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, so on and so forth. and all others are pursuing PhD. So most likely another a year or so, 75% of them would have completed their PhD, and all of them are master students. And we also have many of them have come from industry, who had prior knowledge of prior industrial experience, and they have come to serve. And we have various segments of mechanical engineering. Generally, mechanical engineering today, we can put them into 3 or 4 categories. That is the design and computational engineering, then manufacturing engineering, the thermal engineering, then industrial engineering, okay, and the mobility engineering, okay, that's automobile. So we have well balanced faculty from all these different specializations.
All right, wonderful. I think this is my personal view that lab is a pivotal part of mechanical engineering comparatively with other disciplines. You have to have what you call is the UTMs, universal testing machines, for Vickers, Brinell, tensile, compression. So it's a major part of a mechanical engineering learning. Can you just throw some light on the pilot lab or the number of labs that you have? That's number one, the pilot lab. And how do you modernize your lab? I mean, you cannot have a UTM which is 20, 25 years back and teach that UTM, because the technology keeps changing and you need to update your laboratories. So how do you do that? And I would just want you to tell, how is it that special or so special about the lab of Mechanical Engineering Department at Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore?
Okay, thank you. Coming to laboratories are most pivotal or important things in mechanical engineering per se. For that matter, any engineering discipline. As you mentioned, the UTMs, the basic engines, which are part of any university or any institution. So we have well equipped for those things. Coming to specifically what is that? We specialize what normally many institutions do not have, or where we are seeing the future, okay, right. The first is on the industry side, okay. So we say industry 4.0 is the latest terminology used. Amrita has already well equipped to train the students in this. So we have a IoT and automation lab, so wherein students work on the IoT, use IoT devices in mobility engineering, that is for vehicle electronics. Then condition-based monitoring of health monitoring of our equipment, that is machinery. We also have CNC machines. Okay, we also have robotics. Okay, so then we have machine vision equipment, so that they can see quality control through machine vision. Okay, so quality control using IoT devices. Then detecting defective equipment in an industry, which are very, very important today. So these are some of the things. We also have computational engineering specialization, wherein students need to learn before they design computational techniques they learn. So we have modeling software and analysis packages for finite element analysis. Then the mechanism analysis, which is very, very integral part of any industry. Okay. We also have unique labs in, when I say mobility engineering consists of 3 categories. One is the land mobility, that is the automobile industry. Then we have the mobility on sea, okay, the ships, and then mobility in air, okay, so aircraft and aircraft system. We have a unique lab in what we call as hypersonic and shockwave lab, which is one of its kind in the country, which is there only in very few IISc and very few IITs. Even all IITs does not have, except for, as far as I know, more than 3 or 4 IITs, nobody else has got this lab. So wherein we specialize in testing models of re-entry vehicles and missiles, the defense related vehicles. We also have, we can also do hypersonic testing of hypersonic vehicles, which is the state of the art, which is going to come in the future. So wherein aircrafts will travel at 5 times the speed of sound, so which is right now the fastest aircraft, civilian aircraft travels at 0.8 times the speed of sound, 5 times. Okay, it's almost 5 times much faster. So that is the state of the art technology. Anywhere in the world you go, very few countries are really working on that, except for 4 or 5 countries, nobody else is working on that. So we have equipment for that. Okay.
Sir, you'll agree with me about we tailor make our students in the 4 years of their study in the mechanical department towards the requirement of the industry, because we need to create those engineers who can directly fit into the production line which is concerned with mechanical engineering. For this purpose, you need to fine-tune your curriculum as per the requirements of the industry. How do we do that, and how effective is that? Like, how do you know that this is what Caterpillar needs, this is what Volvo needs, this is what L&T needs? So what do you do to update yourself as to what the requirements of industry is all about, and how often do you fine-tune in tandem with the requirement of industry? Over to you, sir.
The curriculum is upgraded every 4 years. That is what we normally do. Whereas in Amrita, the curriculum can be upgraded every semester. Every semester. Yes, we have a flexibility to introduce new courses, flexibility to introduce new topics in a particular course, flexibility to introduce new laboratory courses every semester also. So there are 2 or 3 things what we do to upgrade ourselves from the industry perspective. One is our board of studies, we have experts from industry who constantly tell us what is happening in the industry. The next is our students, our alumni, whenever they go for industry, we take the feedback from them. What is that they expect out of, what did that they lack, okay, in terms of those 4 years. So what should we do to our curriculum to better them to industry ready? So the first information we get from our students the moment they enter into industry. So they go there industry, we get their feedback constantly. So what is that happening in the other one is whenever we call industry expert to talk to the students in terms of expert lectures, in terms of training to them, we take feedback, okay, seriously. So these feedback mechanisms help us in upgrading our curriculum, introducing new experiments, introducing new laboratories, and upgrade even existing courses itself. Okay. So these are the 3 ways we upgrade ourselves.
That's wonderful. Nice to hear, sir. I would say 99.9% of the students who join any engineering college, for that matter, is to get themselves placed well. I mean, they need a job before they leave the institution. So I just want to ask you about the type of placement that has happened in 2019 and 2020 with regard to your department, mechanical engineering. That's number one. What would be the highest salary? What would be the median average salary that a mechanical engineer could expect getting graduated from Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore? That's my second question. And the third question is, like, maybe in the next 10 years or so, what would be the growth in the industry which is connected to mechanical engineering? I mean, how it is going to be in terms of demand for mechanical engineering? So these are the 3 questions which I'm sure we'll be able to throw some light and educate our children who would like to opt to take mechanical engineer for the year 2021. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, as any parent or student who enters into any engineering institution will think about placement. So that's a primary concern about every parent and every student, okay, who joins engineering. In Amrita, especially mechanical, students are well placed. Okay, almost 75 to 80% of them who are interested in placement get placed, and some of them opt out of placements. It's basically because they want to do higher studies. We'll come to that a little later. So what are the companies which do take up our students? One is in the automotive sector. Okay, that's the primary industry which is really doing well. The other is in terms of computational engineering and design engineering, analysis engineering sector, where students, mechanical engineers go and do analysis, then design of equipments and analysis of the equipment. Okay, so then as other process industries. Okay, some of the companies which come for placements are like L&T. Then we have students whom we have placed in Caterpillar, Toyota, then Bosch, so on, and TVS, so on and so forth. Okay. Coming to your second question on what are the packages? Okay, right. Generally, if you take any mechanical engineering, the starting packages are generally lower compared to other industry. That's how industry norm. Unlike other industry, where in mechanical engineering, as you experience, the packages multiply. Okay, they don't just do increments. Okay, they multiply. Okay, always experience counts in mechanical engineering field.
Exponential growth.
Exponential growth, always it's there. Okay, the highest packages has been somewhere around 9 to 10 lakhs. Okay, and the average has been always 4 to 5 lakhs. Okay, has been the norm, which is much higher than most of the institutions you come across. Okay, including the newer IITs. Okay, or even many NITs. Okay, right. So coming to the third question, what is the future of mechanical engineering? That's an important question, and probably 30 years back when I joined, we also had the same question. Okay, right. So, but the mechanical engineering is one field of engineering which has adopted most over a period of time. Maybe it's there since 100 years, it survived, it is adapting. Okay. So, because mechanical engineers have a unique trait of adaptability. You look around, you find mechanical engineers in every aspect of life. Your cricketers, well-known cricketers in mechanical engineers, your music directors who are mechanical engineers, your singers who are mechanical engineers, they are totally offbeat people. Okay. Your film personalities, mechanical engineers, and of course, there. In fact, if you look at around the world and look at the CEOs, half the CEOs are mechanical engineers. Okay, per se. So it makes them, mechanical engineering makes them, why do they become? Okay, they have much more broader knowledge, and they become more interdisciplinary than any other branch of engineering, which makes them much more easy to interact with people. So they learn these techniques of managerial technique much more easily than others. It's because they study varied courses, and it's much more interactive in their courses when they study the courses. So that's why they become much more, you say, smarter to deal with people. Okay, so you have a lot of mechanical engineers who are politicians. Yeah. So, so that's how they become more. So I mean, to come to specific of your question, so what is happening in the future in mechanical engineering? There are a couple of areas in which mechanical engineers are going to excel or find a placement. One is the industry, with Industry 4, then additive manufacturing coming into picture, with so much of automation coming in the industry. Any product you do, at the end of the day, every human being uses a product. Okay, it doesn't matter your mobile phone or whatever you are using. At the end of the day, it is a product. You require a mechanical engineer to make it. Okay, so that's one aspect. You require industry. The other is materials engineering. Look around today, the materials, what it is made up of. The first mobile phone we used in India was somewhere in I don't remember, 86. Yeah, yeah. So it came, I think the pager came in 90s. Mobile phone came in 95, 96. The mobile phone was as heavy as 500 to 600 grams.
Yeah, Nokia. Right?
Yeah, Nokia. Okay, right. So today it is, you see how the mobile phone has changed. So what are the technologies involved in that? One is the materials. Then every electronic equipment produces a lot of heat. Okay, so there is a huge potential for mechanical engineers to reduce this heat in electronic equipment. Either it's in personal devices, industrial devices, or space devices. Okay, so these are the three aspects of any device where the huge electronic equipment produce huge amount of heat, which has to be dissipated. Okay, so you have a huge potential to grow yourself in that. That's a big industry today. Electronic equipment cooling is a huge one. Then the mobility engineering. So human beings are always mobile. They don't like to sit in a place. So how do you move from one place to other place at the fastest one? The mobility in terms of road mobility, that is automotive industry. So wherein you're getting into electric cars now, then fuel cell cars. They require totally different technology than what is existing today. So mechanical engineers play a key role there. Then is air transportation. As I said, if you want to move faster, you require your aircraft to fly much faster. Then you have huge challenges. Okay, challenges. In fact, as I said, an hypersonic plane, the research started at 50 years back. Today, the longest flight of an hypersonic airplane has been 1 minute, in spite of 50 years. Okay, but we feel that another 10 years we are going to see a practical hypersonic plane. So today we have hypersonic missiles, but to transport people in that, it requires a totally different kind of technology. So that's one more area in which mechanical industries will always find. The other is energy. So energy is a huge challenge, short term as well as long term for every country. And in fact, human development index is measured in terms of energy consumption today, okay, world over. So you want cheaper energy, especially for a country like us, wherein we have 130 crore people. So you want to supply energy to them at a cheapest cost without a sustainable energy. So the energy engineering is one place where you have a lot of opportunities coming into picture.
Sir, I mean, before we choose mechanical engineering, how can a student assess himself or herself that I'm suitable for mechanical engineering to begin with? How do they assess? Can they assess that? You said about farmer, hands get soiled, and mechanical engineering, oil, and something you started off initially. So how do you know I'm a fit person to oil my hands after I pick up mechanical engineering? And how do you assess? Is there any way to assess? It's just a question. If there is no other way, that's a different way. Yes, sir. Over to you.
It's very simple. Okay, so what you require as a mechanical engineer is inquisitiveness. Are you really inquisitive about knowing what happens to anything, how things work? Why is the next question is what you should ask. Okay, so why is the bottle is of a particular shape? Okay, why can't it be in a different shape? So why is one automobile is a particular shape? Okay, what makes it an automobile should have a particular shape? So this question of constantly asking yourself why, and other one is the most important, common sense. Okay, that's an important aspect of a mechanical engineering design, common sense. What is the point in you making a product which nobody uses? So is there a requirement of particular product? Is there a requirement of improvement in design of a product of whatever you are using? So suppose you are using your mobile phone, what are the drawbacks you find, okay, when you are using a mobile in terms of its ergonomics, holding? Most of us many times find I am not able to lift my mobile phone after using it for a long duration. My hands become heavy, or my ear becomes hot. Yeah, what is that? Why is it happening? Okay, so if you can ask questions yourself, if you are inquisitive, then you are fit to be a mechanical engineer anytime.
Sir, there are three ways after graduation an engineer can go about. One is he can get placed, he can take a job. The number two, he can start his own business, he can be a entrepreneur by himself. And the third is going for higher studies. So here is where I like to know from you as to what are the choices left to a student after they complete their BTech in mechanical engineering for further higher studies? Like, what are the streams, what are the disciplines, and what is your suggestion for them? Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Today, higher studies has become very, very important. Not only engineer, as an engineer, you require interdisciplinary approach, wherein you require to have knowledge of different fields of engineering. You also should become a specialist. Okay. So what is that you contribute when you, let's take a robo. So it consists of many, many fields. You require the knowledge of electronics, you require the knowledge of communication, you require the knowledge of programming, plus the hardware, that is mechanical engineering. Okay. So as a mechanical engineer, you should know these aspects of other engineering, but also what is that you contribute. So that means you require specialization. So what are the opportunities available? So one is on industry side. So you want to become a manufacturing engineering, right? So that is then industrial engineering, okay, then computational engineering, then vehicle engineering, then electronic equipment cooling, the thermal engineering, then of course the mobility engineering, aerospace engineering. So these are some of the areas in which you can always do specialization and excel.
So you've been here with Amrita School of Engineering for more than a decade, and you would have seen many of them passing out. And you didn't mention about students getting a higher pay package of 9 to 10 lakhs, and on a median it would be somewhere around 5 to 6 lakhs. Now, do you have any specific, if you remember, not that you must remember, that any alumni who are now placed in high positions, and as you said, the salary hike is not just incremental, it's exponential. And could you mention one or two names if you know? Otherwise, just
it's good you asked this, because I just wanted to bring an aspect of mechanical engineers. They're in, if you look at our alumni, they're in varied fields. Okay, you'll be astonished that they are doing so well in different kinds of industry. So we have Mr. Santosh Adavi, who is a lead engineer in General Motors. Yeah, so he works on industrial engineering. Okay, we have students with Samsung Electronics. I mean, it's a totally, so they are in helping design of chips. So wherein I said electronic cooling of equipment. We have students in Dassault Systems, okay, who are doing well. We have students in Toyota. So we have students in Benz who are working. So then we have many students in doing still higher studies. Okay.
I think the last question which I like to pose you was about if at all one wants or decided to join mechanical engineering, why should he or she join mechanical engineering at Hamada School of Engineering, Bangalore? I mean, why should he or she join? First of all, Amrita Vidyapeetham. Secondly, Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, why mechanical department or Amrita? Amrita is unique compared to any other institution in terms of, as I said, the 3 Qs I just said, the IQ, intelligent quotient, emotional quotient, and the moral quotient. Okay. So, these are the 3 aspects we specialize and we give importance, and we give education for life, not for just living. The other important aspect, as any student or a parent, so whether my student of my ward gets placed, or my ward is eligible to gets enough knowledge to get a IS, good for higher studies, get admission in a very good institute for higher studies. So we train the students in such a way that so they can get into these aspects. So what is the uniqueness? One more uniqueness about Amrita. So we have a program called Live in Labs, okay, wherein students go to a rural village, find out practically what are the difficulties and problems they face, come back and design a solution for that, go back and implement, not just design and give it, go back and implement and monitor it continuously. Okay. So they learn, we call experiential learning. So they learn that, we encourage that experiential learning. Other is the uniqueness of our curriculum, wherein you have a lot of practical training, then internships, the projects, okay, and giving opportunities for students to go abroad and do their part of their study there, spend 6 months to 1 year in partner universities, so where they get experience of the environment in those universities so that they can go back and join those institutions.
So here we have Dr. Nagaraj, who is a professor and chair, Mechanical Engineering Department of Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore. Thank you so much for enlightening us about the special department of Mechanical Engineering at Amrita School of Engineering. Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time and more so informing our aspiring students who would like to be engineers in the future about as to why they should choose mechanical engineering to be successful. Because mechanical engineering is, every engineering in that factor is all interdisciplinary. As he rightly mentioned, it's not just computer science, it's not easy, it's not civil, because every department in engineering is interlinked, interconnected, interdisciplinary, because he mentioned that if somebody has to manufacture a robotic, right, a robot, you need to have the help of a mechanical engineering in designing part. And if you have to have somebody clearing it off in terms as to how far a robotic can take the heat, you need to have a mechanical or a chemical engineer for that matter. So children, it's up to you to decide the future. And the future is going to be a fantastic, wide open opportunities for those people, those students who wish to be mechanical engineers in the future, as rightly mentioned by our Dr. Nagaraj, Professor and Chair, Mechanical Department, Amrita School of Engineering, Bangalore. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us. And we certainly value all the information that you did mention about the type of lab that you have, which the other IITs and NITs don't have. Maybe few of them have. And that's wonderful. That second, you said, yes, the way to assess is to, if you're prepared to oil your hands, then you become a mechanical engineer. And as you rightly said, all those automobile industries are, the communication is going to open up and all this need more mechanical engineers. So it's going to be a brighter and brighter and brighter for the students of mechanical engineering. Thank you so much and namaste, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity.